Greetings, students. It's great to be back together. Let's start with recitation of lex legis. Okay? Lex, legis, legi, legem, lege, leges, legum, legibus, leges, legibus. Okay? Now I want you to pause the video and I want you to take out a piece of paper or a whiteboard and decline veritas, veritatis. Okay? And then we'll do it together when you come back. Okay, awesome. All right, I'm going to abbreviate my cases this time to save time. So, nominative, genitive, dative, accusative, ablative. Okay, I'm going to change my pen. That didn't work very well. So I asked you to do veritas, veritatis. Okay, there we go. Remember, this one, the first dictionary entry goes right in the nominative singular, veritas. Then I'm going to get my stem by dropping off that genitive singular ending. So my stem is veritat, veritat. Okay, veritat, veritat, veritat. Okay, make sure I'm still on the screen. Veritat, veritat. Ooh, I should have picked a shorter word. Veritat. And you remember this word means truth. Okay, veritat. Please, please, please be learning all your vocab. Nominative, genitive, and gender of all your vocab. Okay, let's put some endings on this. Various, is, ace, ibus, ace, ibus. And there you have your declension of veritas, veritatis. Okay, remember it's feminine, okay, because of the socks rule. The nominative singular ends in S. Okay, so let's also go over like 2 sentences from exercise 34. Okay, just make sure that you understand how you're doing these sentences. Okay, so let me grab my book and I'll pick a couple. Oh, just random. Why don't we do number 6? I'm not even really looking at what I'm picking. Just picking a couple. Romani. Let me grab my book. Romani legem et veritatem Christi non laudant. Okay, so there's no prepositional phrases for me to mark. There's no conjunction. So I'm going to, with this one, start with the verb, okay? I'm going to underline the verb, and I see it ends in NT, so I'm looking for a plural subject. I'm just going to kind of underline these, so I'm keeping myself honest about this. Okay, now I always look at the first word. If the first word can be made a subject, one of its choices is nominative, I make that my subject, okay? So let's look at Romani. Ah, indeed, second declension masculine, plural nominative ends in I. So I'm going to make Romani my subject, okay? And if you memorized your endings for third declension, you know that EM is your direct object case, okay? So I got that. And then so known as an adverb, okay? Christi, okay? Now that is also second declension masculine, but we've already have a subject, so we're going to make that the other I choice in the second declension masculine, which would be genitive, okay? So now remember, we're going to do subject, verb, direct object, and put the genitives with the words they go with, okay? So I'm going to have the Romans, okay, and then I'm going to go to my adverb verb thing there. Romans do not praise. Okay, now, what don't they praise? They do not praise the law and truth, Christi, of Christ. Okay, so if you follow that pattern, it's fairly straightforward how to translate subject, verb, subject and its modifiers, verb, direct object and its modifiers. Okay, maybe we have prepositional phrases, and those actually can go anywhere you want in the sentence. Okay, let me pick another one. Okay, let's do number 10. That will be our second and last one of our review. Number 10. Okay, grab my book. We've got dukes. Okay, Romanorum in Gallia. Macron over that A. Est. Quod or quad bellum est in Gallia. Maybe I better put that Gallia next to the N. Hope you can see it on your screen. Okay, you can't, so let me just move my screen just a little bit. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to remind you now, this one has some different constructions. So the first thing I'm going to do, because I have a conjunction, I'm going to drop a slash so I know I have two separate sentences with verbs in each sentence. Okay, I'm going to, oh look, I have some prepositional phrases. So even before I underline my verb, I am going to box those prepositional phrases. Okay, now I'm looking for my verbs because I'm going to have two because I have that conjunction, and indeed I do. Okay. So now I'm looking for a subject here, singular subject, and we know this is our subject. Here, I'm looking for a subject. Yep, I got one right here. And then the only thing really left, I can mark this with a C, is aurum. Okay, do you remember what case aurum is? Okay, second declension masculine or neuter. Okay, but in this case, this is a masculine word, and it's genitive plural. So I'm going to write genitive. So remember, you do your genitives with the word they go with. Okay, so here we go. Subject, verb, and in this case, because I have linking verbs here, I don't have direct objects, I have prepositional phrases this time. So the leader of the Romans is in Gaul because war is in Gaul. Okay, so once you've got it all figured out and you look at those endings, it's pretty easy to translate it. Okay, so now let's talk about our new concept for today. So if you have your composition notebook, you can take it out and take notes on this. We're going to title this Appositives. Ooh, there we go. I mean, most of us, honestly, if we haven't taken Latin, haven't even heard about appositives before. Like, what? So I'm going to explain a little bit about appositives to you, okay? So basically, an appositive is a noun explaining or renaming another noun, okay? So let's just pick somebody's Jim, video game player of the year, loves playing video games, okay? So do you see video game player is a noun renaming Jim, okay? Unfortunately, we're not going to have that example in our book, but we will have other examples, okay? So it's a noun, let's just write this down, okay? An appositive is a noun which renames another noun, okay? Now, it's not always going to rename the subject, okay? It might rename the direct object or the indirect object, okay? It's not always going to rename, and we'll do a couple of examples, but it's a noun which renames another noun. Now, it's going to agree in number and case, okay? So if your original noun is nominative singular, your appositive is going to be nominative singular. Oftentimes your gender is the same, but the noun has its own gender, so it won't always be the same gender, okay? Just FYI. But it will agree in number and case all the time, okay? And often gender. So we're gonna put a couple examples up here for you to look at, okay? So here's one example. Christus filius Dei, okay, let me come over here, est rex regum, okay? Now, oftentimes, a positive is set off by commas, And that's helpful because when you can see those commas and then you're like, oh, I got an appositive, but it's not always. So don't depend on that. But what you can see is that you have nominative singular and you have nominative singular. So you have an appositive here, and I just abbreviated APP, okay? So you'll do it right, you'll translate the appositive phrase right after the noun it is in opposition to, okay? So, Christ, the Son of God. Okay, does that make sense? Christ, the Son of God, and then we have here our linking verb. And so then what we have is our predicate nominative. Okay, Christ, the Son of God, is King of Kings. Okay? And be careful with this word. A lot of people get confused and they see regum and they think regnum, R-E-G-N-U-M. And that's the word for kingdom. So this actually is the word for of kings when there's no N there. Okay? So there's an example of having an appositive with something in the nominative case. Now let me show you one having it using the accusative case. So we have Christiani, okay. Oh, I'm not going to put that there yet. Let's not do that. Let's see. Oh, I know. Christum filium Dei, and then I'm sure this is going to, oh no, it's not. Laudant. Okay, so let's look at this one now. Okay, I'll just move this just a little bit. Okay, so we have Christiani, Christum, Filium, Dei, and Laudant. So there's our verb right there. Okay, I always look at the first word, remember, that is definitely my subject. Okay, and so now I have, oh, Christus, Christi is second declension masculine, so I know this is my direct object. Oh, look, here's my appositive. It is a noun standing next to another noun in the same number and case, renaming it. Okay, so this time we're going to go subject, verb, direct object, then appositive. The Christians praise Christ, the Son of God. Okay, so again, you can have the appositive in different cases. Okay, it's not always going to be in the nominative case. Okay, so this time you are going to, and I want to remind you, always read the book. Okay, always read your textbook because it does a really good job of explaining things. Okay, you have some new vocab on page 39. Okay, you have Caesar, Caesaris, which means Caesar. Okay, that's going to be a masculine natural gender. You have salus, salutis, okay, salvation, welfare, safety. That's going to be what? Feminine, socks rule. Oh, vox, vocis, voice or cry. That's where we get the word vocal from. Vocal is from this Latin word, vox, vocis. Voice, cry, that's going to be feminine, socks rule. And a new verb, audivit. Okay, right here, he, she, it, heard. All right, so now I want you to go ahead, stop your video. You're going to do exercise 36 and 37. Now on 37, they want you to look at the appositive and put the right ending on it. Okay, so it's going to be based on the noun it goes with. It's renaming, okay? So Christus, and then it goes re blank hominum. Well, Christus is in the nominative case, so you need to put that word king in the nominative case. So just stick an X on it. Christus rex hominum in caelo est. Okay, so get at this, okay? And if you're my students and you have any questions, the first one's a little tricky. I'm just going to give you a clue that the appositive is in the dative case, okay? So do subject, verb, direct object, indirect object, okay? Then you'll get your appositive after that. So don't be tricked by that one. But remember to ask me questions if you have any, okay? All right, valete discipuli.